Hello and welcome to BUZ Banter. I'm Das Hat.
I'm Sam.
And today we bring you a fun little bit of geeky news. So, as part of
Joss Whedon's.
his contract, I'm sorry, I do know what I'm doing.
Obviously.
As part of Joss Whedon's contract for doing the second Avengers film, which will come out in X amount of years, I don't know when, he's been contracted to do a live-action series for Marvel Studios straight into 2015, June of 2015. And that's all we know. The show's going to be live-action. It heralds Whedon's hopefully triumphant return to TV after, I think, Dollhouse.
Dollhouse was the last one.
That was the last one, which was a fantastic series. Check it out.
Firefly was the last really good one.
Yeah, Buffy the Vampire Slayer kind of lost it. Angel kind of lost it.
I still like them at the end. Yeah, you can all you want. Anyways, we are wondering what it could be.
Yeah. So
what is it?
So this video is basically just going to be what we hope for, and what looks interesting.
Well, you had a pretty good guess. Your guess was The Runaways.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, in Marvel Comics there's a series called The Runaways.
The manga series? There's a manga series called The Runaways too, is it them?
No. I don't believe it is. But the actual Marvel comic book series is basically a bunch of youngsters with various abilities, some magical, some mutant, find out that their families are all part of this large criminal empire, this large supervillain family empire, and they're expecting that these kids will eventually become villains as well. They run away from home and eventually actually go back and take apart this empire, actually killing a lot of their own family members. Now, sounds a little dark, but this is Marvel Comics, so you're going to have a lot of death and quips. And if there's anything that coming from Joss Whedon, it's going to have an ensemble cast. It's going to be fairly witty, and because it's on TV, it needs to be something recognizable.
What about the Schism?
Schism. All right. Well, I wanted X-Men. I really did, because Wolverine and the X-Men. I really enjoyed that series. And I was very disappointed when it was pulled for unbelievably stupid reasons.
I would have enjoyed it more if it was more Emma Frost and Wolverine than Emma Frost and Scott, because I hate Cyclops.
Well, a lot of people have been saying maybe Astonishing X-Men simply because Joss Whedon himself penned a lot of the comics for Astonishing X-Men, their Breakworld arc, with the return of Colossus. But the reason that won't, at least I feel that won't work, is you already have the continuity from First Class that clashes with the continuity from the first 3 X-Men films, and then Wolverine Origins, which clashes with both. Yeah, it does clash with both.
It does, easily.
Even though it's but then if you want, and then you'll try to introduce another X-Men series, a live action to TV, no, I can't. It's just too many varying continuities that fans are gonna have issue with. They're gonna have trouble swallowing, because you know that they're going to see the TV series, watch the movie, it's not going to line up, and they're just gonna go, "What the hell is this?"
Well, I think they already did that with Origins and First Class, but.
Which, again, First Class, I don't know why people loved it so much.
Well, they loved it because Michael Fassbender was amazing in that. He played a really good young Magneto.
He did, but all the Young Mutants, I hated.
Well, yeah.
Absolutely hated. And
Sebastian
Sebastian Shaw was such a null villain. He just did nothing.
You didn't like the girl from Hunger Games as Mystique?
No. Because that was just...
And the cameo by Rebecca Romaine for 2 seconds.
It's just... no. Shit. Taylor flip.
Yeah, I don't know. I can see why certain people liked it, but it should have just been Magneto's story.
Yeah.
It really should have just been
which really is the only reason people liked it. But
yeah,
anyway,
Charles should have been the foil. But anyways,
you watched that movie for like 4 scenes. But anyway,
back to what we think. Now we're also that's also if it's an X-Men thing.
Yeah,
it could very much not be an X-Men.
Well, the big reason why I am and why a lot of people are saying Runaways is because in 2008, Runaways was actually on the project list for Marvel Studios. They were going to actually make it into a film. What ended up happening, however, is they listened to the fans in wanting an Avengers film, and they started they basically went full tilt into the Avengers thing, because prior to that point, they were going to be separate universes and everything, but you see after 2008 how they started adding the post-credit little things about S.H.I.E.L.D. And it was only after that point when they were just like, alright, we are actually going to do the Avengers, and they concentrated all of their effort on that, so this was put on the back burner. However, it was never taken off of that. So it is still a project that Marvel Studios wants done, and honestly, with the amount of character development that you need for all of the characters in the Runaways, I think it would work better as a TV series than it would as a film. Because it's a very large cast. The reason why you were able to do a large superhero cast in Avengers was because, well, everyone had already had character development in their own films.
Yeah, they had it runs on the legs of the other 5 movies.
Exactly. So the only character development that was needed in the Avengers film was learning to work together. And that was it.
Pretty much.
Because you already had development of character, the audience didn't really need any more.
You didn't need the superfluous girlfriend for all the guys to fight over.
Exactly. So, with regards to the Runaways, however, you have adolescents rebelling against authority for varying reasons. All of them have their own different powers and everything, their own different problems.
So it's Degrassi with powers?
Pretty much. And like there's just so much more character development that needs to happen. And the risk that you run in having it as a movie is the same problem that I had with the X-Men films. And that was, there is no character development. All of the characters are the same character. And they all develop at the same time. It's all of them just going, alright, I'm a mutant, I'm proud. Eventually coming to that point. That's it. There was nothing else.
There's also other problems with that, but irregardless, what other characters, you said they have to be recognizable characters.
Exactly.
What characters that are recognizable do not have anything in past their comics?
Well, Luke Cage and Iron Fist.
The two punchy guys.
The 2 punchy guys. One with the magical punching and the other guy with the very strong punching. A few people were saying Alias and maybe tying in Iron Fist with that because... and the reason behind that being... because this is part of his contract with Avengers 2, it could well be that this ties into the second Avengers film as kind of like a stopgap. Now, obviously you're not going to have the stars from the Avengers and the regular Marvel films come to do a TV series. Robert Downey Jr.'s ego is just way too big for that.
I think all their egos are a little too big for that.
Maybe Ruffalo.
Ruffalo was a stand-in for a guy with a big ego. But anyways, but like what other else? We got the punchy guys. Who else is like super recognizable that they haven't done?
Miss Marvel. They haven't done her.
Technically, they haven't done Mr. Marvel either.
No one cares about Mr. Marvel. Mr. Marvel. Or Marvel Man, or Wonder Man, or whatever the hell he's calling himself now.
They all changed their names eventually.
Yeah.
They've never done Spider-Woman.
They haven't done Spider-Woman. It would be interesting, at least in my opinion, to see Young Avengers, just having it as sort of the...
Didn't they do Young Avengers? They did that as a TV series, or like a mini-movie or something.
They had, like, Avengers of the Future as, like, the kids, and, like, they're somehow connected to in their past
I think they literally had, like, an Avengers where it was the son or child of, like, the previous Avengers.
Yeah, that was, like, a straight-to-DVD release, I think it was. And it was bad.
Yes. Bad. It's just, like, one kid's, like, mini Hulk, and I'm like, what?
There is actually a Hulkling.
Yeah,
He's called Hulkling, but he's not actually connected to Bruce Banner in any way. He's just...
Really? I thought it was the son of Bruce Banner.
No. Hulkling is actually a member of the Kree Empire. He's one of the biological weapon people that they create. Okay. He's got, like, shape-shifting powers.
I remember some of them were dotted. I think Tony Stark's was...
yeah, Tony Stark's, I think, his daughter?
Yeah, it was like Iron Woman.
Yeah.
We could get the Dark Avengers.
No. No.
We can't get the Iron Patriot. We can't get Dark Wolverine.
No, because then you have to have Venom.
Venom's awesome.
No.
What about the second Dark Avengers?
No.
No?
No, because
what about a story of Venom?
A story of Venom would be nice, but again, you need an ensemble cast and it needs to be quippy.
What about the Inhumans?
The Universal Inhumans I would love to see. They are a much more serious tone than what you usually see, but we saw with like Malcolm Reynolds from Firefly, and, especially in Serenity.
You mean Nathan Fillion?
Nathan Fillion's character, Malcolm Reynolds.
Oh, okay, I was going to say.
Whedon can do a very good dark character.
Namor?
Namor would be interesting, but again, you need an ensemble cast. Universal Inhumans, I'd like, but it's a huge scale, because you need to take care of them, you need to take care of the relationships with various people on Earth. On top of that, your lead cannot ever speak.
He can hand sign.
No, he'll always have whoever's playing Medusa talking for him.
Yeah, but then he just expressions. He can be very expressive.
Which you can have in a film. I'm not sure that you can have it in a TV series. Effectively.
Yeah, TV series.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. As a stock character, yes. Not as a main character.
We'll see. You never know. Thunderbolt could just be like a guy in there, and then like it's actually one of the other Inhumans.
But in all honesty, if it's going to be anything, it'll either
You think Runaways, which is a fairly decent guess, which is
what I think is either what I think is either Runaways or the Avengers Initiative, continuing with like Young Avengers or like training other heroes. It could be that like they're bringing in Luke Cage and Iron Fist as a secondary team or something like that.
What about the Five Lights?
The Five Lights is... No, you can't do that, because you need to have House of M, you need to have Messiah Complex, you need to have Messiah War, you need to have Second Coming, and then you get to the Five Lights. And the Dark Avengers. And Civil War. Holy crap, all of that led to that.
Yeah, pretty much. All that led to 5 teenagers who have problems.
And all of them got taken out before they could be useful during the Return of the Phoenix arc.
One of them became a murderer.
Yeah, but he got killed.
It wasn't the girl? The temperature controlling one.
Oh, no. She's the one with self-issues about... she sees herself as a monster. That's not... It was the biological guy. He finally, he finally made good on his betrayal and promised to kill Hope, and she killed him instead.
Well, that's hope for you.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think that also brings...
What do you want to see?
I want something they've never done before, because they've really done everything. Because, I mean, I think
they've done the recognizable stuff already,
That's the thing, like, we just listed everything they haven't done that is recognizable, and it doesn't even sound like a decent story. Well, like, Luke Cage is just, he's just a black guy who punches things, that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
Iron Fist is just a guy with a weird costume.
And the mystical fist-powered thingies.
Yeah, but it's like... Yeah, that's the whole point. It's not like Spider-Man, or, you know... Well, it's not like them.
Well, they're recognizable characters because we've read the comics, but
they're also the most popular ones.
The problem is, they're not recognizable on the wider culture base. You talk to a kid, like a 4-year-old kid, Spider-Man, Superman, Batman, he knows them all. But then you go, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Amanda Waller, just straight over his head.
You just went to DC there for some reason.
Well, I did Spider-Man, Batman, and Superman. I had to cross over.
Oh, okay.
But like, there are a lot of... these are characters that we know being nerds, but the larger TV-watching audience...
But here's the thing, though. They did it with Blade. They brought Blade in, and all of a sudden he has a trilogy.
Blade has a trilogy, but he stands independent in his universe from anything else.
But
in
it's
Marvel.
still a Marvel character that was not recognizable. They brought in, and then all of a sudden it's
but they didn't bring it in with Joss Whedon, and you need to follow the Whedon formula.
You don't have to follow.
Yes, you have to.
No, you don't.
Yes, you have to.
No, you don't.
People will hate him if you don't.
Like what?
People will hate him.
Even if you follow the Whedon, it's not a guaranteed like blockbuster. Look at Dollhouse.
Dollhouse was still a good series.
Yeah, but it like got canned because no one liked it.
Well, here's the problem with a lot of the stuff that he works on, and actually the problem with the general TV audience base in general.
He chooses Fox, therefore he doesn't get 9 million views.
Well, it's not just that. He gets a fan base, and a lot of shows get a fan base, but they get it too late. They get it either late into the season, midway through the season, and basically at the end of it, the people up top say, you didn't have enough.
Well, essentially, the way Fox works is you need to start off high, and as long as you end before you get below 4 million, you're good. Which is what happened to House. If you look at the first episode, that was like at 15 million, and then last season it's 9 million.
Yeah. Which is why it continued to go on as long as it did. It wasn't the executives that stopped House, it was the team that does House that stopped House.
Yeah. But it stopped at like 9 million.
Yeah. But that being said, shows exactly like Wolverine and the X-Men. It started out, didn't have too big of a following, but as the series progressed, it got very interesting. More people started following it, because it didn't have that initial high, into its second season, when they had everything planned out for it, and they were producing it, and then the budget was cut at the last minute.
But here's the thing, like, formulas don't always have to work. Like, the guy who does Blade did the Batman movies. He wrote it with Christopher Nolan.
That's true.
He did all 3 Blade ones, and the same guy did all 3 Batmans. I mean, people have rise and falls all the time. I mean, the whole point that I was trying to make is, like, you can take a guy who's not known in the universe. Blade was not that well known. People didn't even realize he was in the Spider-Man TV series.
Because he didn't look black in the Spider-Man TV series.
He was half black. He had a dark complexion.
He had a dark complexion, but he looked Puerto Rican.
Whatever. He still was like Blade, and he had the deep voice, and he had the saber. Instead of a sword, he had a saber, but he was still Blade. The fact of the matter, it was still Blade. Yeah. And then when people saw the movie, they was like, oh, this is an amazing vampire movie. I'm like, that's a Marvel movie. I'm like, what? Yeah. People saw the Marvel symbol, it's like, this is a comic book movie? Yeah. And like, it was like the first one that was like gratuitous, it was like R-rated. Yeah. And then it went to Trinity and became schlock. But anyways, but that's what I mean, like, why don't they take that risk again? Like, the only reason why Blade had the animated series with, like, the X-Men was because he became known for the 3 movies. Well... Why can't they do that with like, Doctor Strange? Well, because they made Blade into a TV series, and it was horrible. But then they did the animated series. There's a Blade anime. Yeah, but... And keep in mind, it was after they got sick of Blade because he was so one-note with Wesley Snipes. Yeah. But Blade can still be awesome. I mean, they could do Midnight Suns, where it's Blade and Ghost. They could, actually, they could do Cloak and Dagger. Mm-hmm. They could do Moon Knight. Moon Knight would actually be very interesting to see in a TV series. I think Ghost Rider in general would be interesting to see in a TV series. You already have the movies, and you have the crap movies. You have the Curse of Nicolas Cage already over that. Get somebody new. You can reboot that. Yeah, you can reboot that, but everyone's going to remember Nicolas Cage as Ghost Rider, and that's people still remember Joel Schumacher doing the Batmans, but Christopher Nolan Batman was still amazing. Because it completely divorced itself of the previous things, but the thing is, it was years and years and years apart from it. It wasn't that many years. It was years. It wasn't that many. It was a good number of years. How many years? 90s to 2000s. That's like 5 years. That's enough. It's not actually, wasn't it like 99 for the last Schumacher one? 99 was the last Schumacher one. I think 2004, 2005? That was 2004 for last Batman. For Batman Begins, I think. So that's only like 5 years. Yeah, 5-6 years. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. Technically, they could do a new Blade. It's been that long since Blade Trinity. That's true. Yeah, I mean, I would like them to do that again. Like, bring another character to the forefront and make him popular like they did with Blade. Like, he wasn't like, he didn't have that, like, super niche appeal. He was just, like, the vampire guy. I would like them...
Kill the Sparkle vampires, yes.
I would like, well, not that. I was going to say, I'm like, they could do something with Punisher. Thomas Jane doesn't want to come back.
Yeah, and actually, if you saw the YouTube video, it's very graphic.
By the way, that's...
search it up, it's called Dirty Laundry.
Anyone who doesn't know, that isn't a trailer for a movie. He just wants to spark interest, because they have the first Punisher people... were expecting fun, and they got actual Punisher.
Yeah.
Then they tried to do it with other Punisher, and it was even worse, because people actually started to research the Punisher, and they were like, oh, okay, that movie's not bad, but the ship has sailed for the first week of box office sales. And then they did the Ray Stevenson one, and it was garbage.
Yeah.
Literally, I checked the box office, it made $8 million.
Yeah.
And it deserved it.
It tanked horrible.
And rightfully so, I like my dad. But, who knows, maybe Dirty Laundry will spark Wheddon to do Punisher.
Well, actually...
there you go, Punisher.
Do you remember, what was it, Mortal Kombat Resurrection?
Is it the second one, or...?
No. Was it... I think it was Resurrection.
No, Annihilation was the second one.
No. Resurrection was basically this... YouTube video starring 7 of 9 and everything, and it's basically in police headquarters.
Isn't that Legacy? Mortal Kombat Legacy?
It led into Legacy.
Okay.
Basically, this was something that people thought was a trailer for the next Mortal Kombat movie. They thought they were rebooting the series as a sort of Nolan-verse thing, where basically it starts off with just...
it's a more realistic version of Mortal Kombat?
It was... not Johnny Cage, what's his name, with the bionic arms?
Oh, Jax.
It was Jax as a police commissioner or police sergeant interviewing this guy sitting across from him and like naming off all of these serial killers, codename Reptile, codename Baraka, and these were just like messed up people. So, like, Baraka was this surgeon...
By the way, was that Kano he was talking to?
No, he was talking... You find out he was talking to Scorpion, who was... He was basically just this ninja. And then, like, at the very end, it's just like... if you take care of these serial killers who we can't get, and, like, Sonya Blade comes in, and she's played by the actress that plays 7 of 9, and then basically... So many people got behind that because it was a very interesting
and it became Legacy.
It became Legacy. They changed things up a little bit. They went back to a little bit more of the original lore for some of the characters.
So they put more of the fantasy back in.
They put more of the fantasy back in with Legacy, but you had like... Actually, I think they followed the original storyline almost directly. They just shifted the focus from Raiden and Liu Kang to Jax and Sonya. Like trying to bring down Kano's empire, and then you have... the whole thing with the Lin Kuei and then Scorpion and all of that happened separately.
But, like I said,
we could well see the same thing with
Wheddon Punisher, what do you think?
I would like it, because Whedon can do dark characters very well.
Who's darker than the Punisher, the original guy who's dark and gritty.
Yeah, Frank. It's hard to do anything against Frank.
He's the original.
Yeah, and it would be interesting to see what the supporting cast for something like that would be like.
I mean, think about it. Marvel, he's already sparked interest with Dirty Laundry on how popular it was. It was shown at Comic-Con, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
It was independently done. It was still done really well.
And for God's sakes, you had Hellboy in it. If you need nothing else to win
that was the funny part of it, but anyways. But think about it. Just like, I didn't even think about it. I'm like, oh man, they could do Punisher. It's been a long time since the last movie.
That would be pretty
They're
cool.
sparking interest in it again thanks to Thomas Jane. He wants to do it. He's so... I've never seen an actor want to do a role so much.
Because it's a fun role, or maybe he just wishes he could be that in real life. But only time will tell.
I think he just finds it as a fun role. Like, Thomas Jane in like real life is apparently pretty funny.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's our thoughts on the upcoming project. Of course, nothing's been positively revealed yet.
Yeah, this is all speculation. Pure speculation.
So we'll see what happens. Leave a comment below. Tell us what you think, what you'd like to see Whedon working on. But until the next time, I'm Dothat.
And I'm Sam.
We will see you when we see you.
Bye.